He scores! We're going into overtime. I'll tell you, Duncan has been great in the clutch all. It's anybody's game at this point. This could be an MVP season.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome to This Week with Sheriff Dave Phalen, a weekly program on LSN television right here in Lancaster. And also we come to you via radio among a number of our radio affiliates throughout Lancaster and Central Ohio. I do appreciate you each and every week joining us, both our viewers and our listening audience. And we've got a great program today because we're going to get updated on the scrap team by Sergeant Rob Hamler. Good to see you, Sarge.
Good to see you.
As always. And you were here earlier, a number of months ago, when we were just talking about the scrap team and getting it off the ground. And for the viewers and listeners that may have missed that program, tell us a little bit about what the scrap team is, and that's an acronym, and what all you guys do.
The scrap team basically stands for Street Crime Reduction Apprehension Program. We're basically a street-level crimes unit. We focus primarily on narcotics investigations.
Okay. And how long have you been in operation?
Since June 11th.
Since June 11th. So started kind of early in the summer, and now we're getting into the fall. Mm-hmm. And so as we kind of look back on this summer, why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the things that have happened? And I'm pleased to say that this unit has been approved to continue, and it's going to be a permanent extension of the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office for sure the rest of this year and probably next.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah. It's been very successful so far. We have filed over 100 felony charges. Since June 11th, we've located over 10 meth labs. Last week alone, we filed 6 felony charges that were felonies of the first degree. And in addition, we were able to locate one of the largest heroin operations that we've seen in Fairfield County.
Well, that's really a great start. And one of the things that I was told, a lot of times when you'll go into a neighborhood and you'll do a search warrant on a house or you'll make arrests, that the neighbors are pretty pleased. So you get a lot of nice response from the neighbors.
Yeah, there's been quite a few scenes where the neighbors have actually came out and clapped or taken photos or things.
Is that right?
Afterwards, yes.
And certainly you've gotten a lot of publicity both on the print media and on television. Mm-hmm. In fact, some of the television stations have gone out with you a few times, haven't they?
That's correct. I think we've had Channel 4, 6, 10, and the Eagle Gazette do ride-alongs with us.
So and those things really help as far as publicizing the program. Mm-hmm. Now, I think the one thing you mentioned that I think surprises a lot of our viewers and listeners that we would have, you say 10 meth labs in our county. And for a while, it seemed like the meth was kind of disappearing, but they have kind of a new way that they make meth now, don't they?
It's called the one-pot method or the shake and bake, and they're able to manufacture the methamphetamine in a matter of anywhere from an hour to 2 hours inside of their house.
Okay.
Just by buying items that you can buy at any local store. So I think that's one of the reasons why there's so many meth labs out there. Like I said, we've located 10 of them, but I'm sure there's still numerous labs out there that we're going to be aggressively trying to work.
Now, for our viewers and listeners, what are some things that a neighbor, maybe someone has a business or someone might observe that would be something that you would want to know about?
Frequent traffic. If you see numerous vehicles or people walking up to the residence, they're only in the residence for a short amount of time, maybe a matter of minutes, and they leave the residence, of course that would be an indication. Most people, when they go to someone's house, they actually want to stop and visit for a while. You may also, if you smell strange odors, of a chemical nature, that may be a good indication that they're manufacturing methamphetamine.
Good. And you also have members from the Lancaster Police Department, right? And the Pickering Police Department assigned to the scrap team.
Correct. I have Nick Snyder. He was a detective for quite a few years with the Lancaster Police Department. He's been assigned to the scrap unit, and he's done an outstanding job. Chief Taylor with the Pickerington Police Department has told me that we're going to receive a personnel from their office at least 2 days a week to start, and then eventually it should turn into 5 days a week.
Now, not to give away exactly how all these investigations happen, but just kind of a sketch of, typically I call in. Someone calls in out there and they say, hey, Sarge, I think there's some activity on my house. I've seen a lot of traffic in and out. They're there on the weekends a lot. They're leaving. They're going, And then what happens once you get that information?
It depends on the nature
Okay.
Of the investigation. We may conduct surveillance. We may just walk up and conduct what's called a knock and talk, where we just make contact with them and see if they're on the up and up. There's several different tactics that we use.
Okay. And what has been the most common type of narcotic that you've found?
So far, heroin.
Heroin, okay. Even beyond the pills, huh?
Yes.
Okay. And, my son's a Columbus police officer, and he says in Columbus today, the drug of choice there continues to be crack cocaine and cocaine. So it's kind of like a little different in the outlying areas.
We have came across some crack cocaine. We actually executed a search warrant here in the city of Lancaster, and out of that we arrested 7 suspects and did charge them with trafficking and possession of crack cocaine. But primarily what we're coming across is the heroin. Initially, yes, there was a large problem with pills, and there still is.
Right.
The problem with the pills is you may be able to buy one pill for $35, where you can buy a balloon of heroin for $10.
Okay.
I think that's
so it's
why
purely
heroin,
economics.
Yes.
And plus the market's been flooded with heroin.
Correct.
So you have this situation where you have a lot of drug dealers or people using drugs. What would be kind of the age group that you see primarily?
The age group would primarily be 20 to maybe 35.
Okay.
Although we have came across and arrested subjects all the way into their 60s.
Yeah, I remember that. Not too long ago, you had an individual that was mid-60s involved in some illegal activity. And how does that break down as far as male and female?
I would say that it's probably 50-50.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Even on the sale part of the equation, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's quite a few females that are out there
Selling
actively
drugs.
using and selling drugs. Yeah.
So we've had this, and you also work in conjunction with the Fairfield Hockey Major Crimes Units.
Correct. We're actually based out of there. It is a sheriff's office program.
Mm-hmm.
However, we do work out of the Major Crimes Unit, the Hocking Fairfield Major Crimes Unit. Which has been beneficial. We're able to exchange information and intelligence and things of that nature.
And you also have a canine assigned to the unit, right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. And how important is that?
Oh, it's great. It would be hard for us to do our job without having a canine unit. Whenever we conduct a traffic stop on a vehicle that has suspected narcotics in it, we're able to run the dog around the vehicle. If the dog indicates that there is narcotics in the vehicle, that automatically gives us permission to go into the vehicle and retrieve the narcotics.
Well, that's a good plus to the agency. So we've been doing this summer. It's been a tremendous summer, and you just have to ask yourself: do you think that this has had an impact on the drug trafficking in our county, in our city?
I do. I think that in all reality, we could probably work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and still stay busy. But I do think it has made an impact, and I've actually heard that from people on the street that, I think they're a little more cautious than they were before.
Okay. Now, there's a lot of parents watching. By the way, we shoot this at the Fairfield Christian Academy. I do appreciate all the students that produce this program. And if it wasn't for them, we couldn't do it. They charge absolutely nothing, and the television and the radio affiliates do not charge us to put this on. So this is certainly a show geared to the public, supported by the community. What are some things that a parent probably needs to know? I know that's kind of an open-ended question, or maybe what are some signs they might see as far as a young person that may be involved in this stuff?
A change in their grades, a change in their behavior, possibly depression, a change of the friends, the groups that they're hanging out with, to where at one point they may be active in sports, now they're trying to somewhat get away from that. Maybe seclusion, they just want to stay in their room all day long. But by all means, parents have every right in the world to go through and search their child's room at any time, or sit down and question their child about what's going on at school, or just with their friends in general.
And I think that's important. I think a lot of times parents in general, they think, well, my child wouldn't be involved in this. But I've been amazed, at least over the last couple of years, of how many kids, young people that are from very nice families that have gotten involved in this. And these heroin and opiates, it's unlike any drug that I personally ever seen. And some of the things that really set it apart that I've seen is I think, number one, the fact that the euphoria that you get from the heroin or opiates, it almost alters the brain, the chemistry in the brain, and then the tolerance to the drug that you need. The more you take, the more you need to take to get high, or even to start feeling so you're not sick. And then the last part of it is dope sick, where people get incredibly sick, and we see this over and over in our jail. And so what happens, it's very addictive. People get addicted to it. They keep taking more and more drugs, and then when they try to get off of it, just so they're not deathly ill, they go ahead and start taking it. So it really is it sets it apart from a lot of things we've seen in the past.
I agree. And a new craze too is the bath salts. And, there has been no long-term studies on the effects of these bath salts. But I can tell you that after somebody does do bath salts for a short period of time, it completely alters their personality, their appearance. And like I said, we're not sure if that's a permanent effect, but they're pretty nasty.
Yeah, just their behaviors. Huh?
Yeah.
In fact, it wasn't too long ago, our Chief Deputy, Perigo, saw there was an individual in the parking lot, and he came in, they was talking to him, and this guy was just mentally ill because he had taken bath salts and just was kind of out of his mind. Mm-hmm. And who knows how long that's going to be occurring.
Correct.
And just for and we're just about out of time, but just for our folks that may not know, this bath salt's been around, a couple years?
Yeah, it was. They changed it from a legal status to an illegal status just a few months ago. Okay. Before that, you could actually go into waterbeds and stuff, or different stores, and you could actually purchase them over the counter. Okay. But it is illegal now, and we're still seeing it out there, not as much. But it's still a problem in our county. We'd like to have you back next week. We're almost out of time to talk a little bit more about what the scrap team does, what you see, the future of the scrap team, and just a lot of good stuff. Do appreciate you being with us, Sergeant Rob Hamler with the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office scrap team. And do appreciate you, the viewers and listeners, and again, the folks here at Fairfield Christian Academy that make this program possible. If you're out there driving, be careful, buckle up, and we'll see you next week right here.
Along with weight loss, it's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.